In 4 months, I'll be studying cinema and television production at San Francisco State University. The Zenith project was supposed to prove that I had had a head start. I was really excited going into this project. I was excited to show everyone how much I had learned at freestyle. All the right ingredients were there. I had written a legitimately good story. Practically, I had chosen a great narrative to do under quarantine. This was going to be a good film. But that's not what this project ended up being. This is an in-depth analysis of what kept this project from being great. This is why my Zenith fell short.
Chapter 1. What was I thinking?
I was confident in my script. The story I wrote was called Feverish. In theory, I thought a one-man drama about a teenage boy cataloging his experience going through an international plague via a video blog in the style of Mark Watney in The Martian would be a tear-jerking, topical, fantastic work of realistic fiction inspired by my own life. There was a problem, though. My own life is boring. This is where I hit my first roadblock. The first act is boring. It just takes too long. Without the use of show, don't tell, it's hard to explain anything. I needed a reason this teenager would be making a vlog about international current events even before the virus, so I made one up. This is seriously the most subtle way I thought I could do that.
Okay, this is the first installment of the international current events diary thing for civics. Chapter 2. Exposition is hard.
It ended up being 45 minutes in my first rough cut. That's because I take for granted how much exposition you can do by just showing the audience different shots. I couldn't do that. I had to tell the audience everything that was happening through monologue. This is a story about a teenager who starves in his own house because his family leaves him for dead and he becomes paralyzed by an incurable disease and contemplates suicide while cannibalizing his older brother. And the very most creative way I could come up to represent all that happening was by the character telling you exactly what was happening. My dialogue was unnatural and forced. These are some of my attempts to be subtle in my exposition.
Alright, this is day 2 of international current events. So I do have a slightly more interesting article for everyone today. This one is about SARS-2 Electric Boogaloo. Apparently, China is in the midst of another cover-up. They admit that a small farming village has got this kind of new type of the bird flu or whatever. Some people die via slow paralysis of their entire body via Christmacandlus. So they say they have it contained now and it's not super bad. Day 11 or 12 of international current events. A number of cruise ships now have been infected. Like everybody on board has gotten sick. So now the virus is waterborne. One of them is a Princess cruise liner that is docking in the port of San Francisco. That's me! That's near where I live! The epicenter of the United States outbreak is San Francisco and the San Francisco Bay Area. They're setting up hand-washing stations at my school, and they say that if any parent of any kid in the district gets sick, then the whole school's just gonna shut down. That English assignment that this was originally for is over now. I'm just doing this for fun in case there's like an international Black Plague sort of thing. I think this would be funny. I can see why my mom is worried about this, especially considering that my mom has an underlying condition that makes it a lot harder to fight this stuff off. Well, we did it, boys. The weekend passed, and schools are now closed.
For me, watching this is like watching time-lapses of coral bleaching. I was slowly killing this film, removing all semblance of color and character.
Chapter 3. Why I choose mostly to stick with comedy acting.
Who doesn't love a good twist? It adds drama and excitement to the story. It makes the audience question everything that the main character has fought so hard for. Or in this case, it tries really hard to do those things, but ends up being mostly embarrassing. Believe it or not, I actually consulted a lot of people while writing this part. This was the part I was most proud of. This was supposed to be my golden fleece. This would be the best piece of film I had produced all year. And maybe it could have been, if I had gotten Jordan to do it. This is how the first act ends.
This is probably going to be the last one of these that I record. I'll tell you why. Nothing's really changing. This is our new normal. I think for now things are gonna be okay.
This is how the second act starts.
My mom died today.
What a shock! And look at his face, it must have been a shock for him too, because he doesn't seem to care very much. I couldn't act sad. I mostly just seem bored. This continues, by the way.
We weren't allowed to have a funeral. They had us call some government hotline number and they took her. I can see our driveway from my bedroom window, and my dad's car was gone this morning. He left us both notes. The note said that he stayed as long as he could without being symptomatic, and he had to leave because that time was up.
I thought that I had pulled it off. That was my magnum opus. So, naturally, I thought the next logical step was to make it happen with every single character. You know, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. I'll admit there were some rough patches, but it's not the worst film in the world. You know, at least I didn't kill off every character, and then realized I probably should kill off the main character too, but it's running a little long, so I should do it pretty quickly. So add a scene where he mentions that the last grocery delivery got stolen, and he doesn't have any food, and it's been like at least a couple weeks, so he could realistically be starving by now. Also, remember to mention for the first time that he has a lot of drugs in his room, and he could probably definitely kill himself, and he probably definitely will, but he really doesn't want to, so he should probably talk to himself in an underexposed shot about how everything is sad and his brother is talking to him less, and maybe his brother is even dead, and make sure to emphasize how hungry he is, even though it hasn't mattered until now. Okay, my camera is almost out of battery, let's film the last scene, but jump ahead another few weeks so we can make sure the brother is dead now, and not explain what happened, and leave the audience to draw their own conclusions after this. Chapter 4. That's a wrap. Can't believe that only took one day.
It's been another week. I am recording this from my bed because I cannot stand up anymore. I can barely move my arms or my hands. It would probably be painful if the hunger wasn't. I don't have a lot left. Connor's almost gone. And I'm hungry again.
He ate his brother. This could have been good. Different director, different actors, different attitude. I loved the idea while I was writing it. To be honest, I still kind of love the idea. Something went wrong in the execution. If I had more time, if I had more crew, this could have been a legitimately fantastic story. Who knows, I might even revisit it in college. That is why this was the most important project I've ever done. Chapter 5. Why it was worth it. In 4 months, I'll be studying cinema and television production at San Francisco State University. The Zenith project gave me a head start. Freestyle Academy has taught me a lot of skills that will be extraordinarily helpful while I pursue my dreams in college. It's given me countless skills and talents, and it's taught me what I'm passionate about and what I'm good at. I love writing, and I'm good at it. I love comedy, and I'm good at it. I love communicating, and I'm good at it. I do know how to write a script. I do know how to edit. I didn't waste 2 years of my life not learning anything. But the most important things that Freestyle Academy taught me were the things that I am bad at. I'm bad at drama. I'm bad at being serious. I'm bad at realism. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm bad at directing. This is my head start. It's so important to go into something knowing your skills. But the most important thing that I've learned at Freestyle is how to recognize my weaknesses. This is my zenith, my crescendo, my climax. These are the things that I am bad at. I know for sure that I've probably gotten a bad grade on my zenith, but I've never been happier to fail.